All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Team Sway and Patty League. You probably know that. You may have. I'm guessing this is not the first game you ever watched of the Team Sway and Patty League. I'm AJS
But if so, welcome.
Yeah, if so, welcome. You are not in for some great Overwatch because we've got Jeff from the Overwatch team coming at you to take on the Tide Pod Challengers. I'm AJS here. We got TK Thrifty and UTech joining me here for a night closing TriCast. As I mean, there's always some storylines in these games. Tonight, it feels like backs against the wall for Jeff from the Overwatch team, as they have a map gap they need to close. They still have a chance. They're 2.5 maps out of a playoff spot, but every week that goes by without them winning maps, it looks worse and worse for them. And they are playing Hibs instead of Adonally. I don't know if that was an unavailability or a benching. And then on the opposing team, we've got Tide Pod Challengers, who are looking hot after last week, but they are playing without Batmel, one of their flex players. So they're going to be playing both Evelyn and Crystallize, but they do have BOL of 60 back.
Yeah, I mean, rough that they don't have one of their good starters, but they do have BOL of 60 back, who is arguably the best player on that team, or one of the best. So, not all downside here.
Yeah,
Gonna be interesting to see how it works out though for them.
Yeah, so we'll see where we're going with that. We've got Dano back on the tanks for Jeff from the Overwatch team on Dano Watch, and Josh Danko on the Bastion on defense. Gonna set up on top of Big Earls and hope for the best. And unfortunately for him, there is a Genji, there is a Tracer, there is an Ana. If you had to pick the 6 picks that could most fuck up a Bastion's day, that actually might be the 6.
It's definitely not a bad 6, that is for sure.
Definitely with that tip of the spear of the Bastion, though. I mean, Danko being notorious for wanting to play all that DPS. They're coming in with the giant dive.
Coming in fast. Everyone's just jumping straight on top of Big Girls, and they get the Bastion right away. They lose both of their dive DPS in the process, though. So this might be all right for Jeff from the Overwatch team. They get the res onto Josh Danko, as they are now pushing Tide Pod Challengers back, and it's looking like they're going to get a stop on this card.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good job selling out for that Bastion, but the problem was they just lost a little too much going for it, and it made it pretty easy for Jeff and the rest of the crew to mop them all up.
Yeah, no nuance with that dive, to say the least.
I can respect that, though. Sometimes you just gotta put bodies on the cart, put bodies on the Bastion.
There we go again. They lose the BOL Sexy Tracer very early on. Hooker sets trying to do something heroic up there. He's reflected a little bit of Bastion spunk back into his face, but not enough. But this card is still moving. They now plus Crystallize on the attack. Josh Danko has reset. He's got configuration tank available, looking to make a big play here and stop this card again. He is shooting into some barriers. He's shooting into some buildings, and now he finally shoots into hook resets. Once again, looking good for Jeff from the Overwatch team as Josh Danko gets 2 kills with that ult. Picks up Teamic on the end for the stagger.
And they're doing a good job keeping the Bastion alive, but the Tide Pod Challengers are doing a horrific job trying to coordinate their dives onto this Bastion, since that is the main threat to Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Yeah, UTech, how's it feel watching this dive and knowing that, like, this is what every team is hoping to see easy clap to?
You know, it just makes me sad when it's just not performed well.
Yeah, it really is. When dive comp goes badly, it looks maybe the worst of any of the comps. But they are going at it again. That monkey finding out the hard way. He cannot knock away that Bastion, but the damage is going to be enough. They're taking out Josh Danko as Ultra being traded. Kappa with a big attack fire. Takes out the ulting, hook resets, and Teamic, and Crystallize on the tail end. Res being performed, and Josh Danko's Bastion is back, and Tide Pod Challengers look like they're the ones sucking out the Tide Pods right now.
And what an ult coming out of Cap. I cannot believe that. Just able to sweep up, getting that high advantage, and just helping Danko get back into configuration on the top and making sure that that Bastion is, even though he is fallen, the other team can clean up. And
I know, man. That Bastion is here to stay. He's fallen, but Mercy picks him right back up, puts the parts together, and he's just happy little chain gunning.
Look at him, he's so happy he's singing Christmas music. Jeff from the Overwatch team, this is Christmas for Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Magical Christmas land. It turns out you just gotta have a Bastion set up on Big Earls. As once again, a coordinated dive and triumph. This time we'll have the Tracer Bomb ready to pick up Bastion. Diva all coming out to follow on top.
Not a good deal The bomb out of Double Light, wasting a lot of time. Now T-Mac popping the Transcendence on the cart. This is looking good for Tide Pod Challenges. They have found a few kills in a row here. Hook resets is around this point, and I think they're mopping up everyone. Just Dano 22 on the Zarya, the last to fall. And that's going to be a full reset. Point 1 finally capped for the Tide Pod Challenges.
I don't know if anyone caught that on the camera or not, but Crystallize and Hook resets just destroyed half their back line there.
Scotch? You ran past the cart! You raging retard!
I don't even know what to say right there.
We like to call that
absolutely inexcusable. There is just
give him a full bow.
Brain dead. They decide to contest. They call for the contest. They have the Lucio and the Reinhardt running on, and he just makes a beeline away from that cart.
Dude, the cart's a scary place. People die on the cart. People die there. That's a scary place, man.
This is now a thing for Scotch. Welcome back to the Bad Plays League, I guess.
Oh,
and here we go.
Nano
Genji, see you hit the finals, back in action. But he is not fighting anyone out. Now he finally finds Captain. He get caught in this Graviton at the end. Charge out of the Graviton. An awkward trade here, but Josh, Dango, QB, they're both down for Team Jeff from the Overwatch team. This is looking good for the Tide Pods again, as they are mopping this one up. Just hips on that Lucio, gonna be kind of staggered out and finally goes down, and that might turn into a second point for TPC.
Yeah, it might not be they didn't have 3 bodies. They still don't have 3 bodies on the cart, and that might make the difference here, as this cart's going a little slower than it could possibly. But,
oh, they'll get up.
Yeah, it seems like Jeff and the Overwatch team is content to not I take that back. They are coming on 3 meters shy.
Swaps to the Genji to immediately rush the cart and die, but it may not matter. Scotch with a big hammer down, taking out one of the healers. Can they get the other? No one targets the Zenyatta. And now T-Mac has time to get his Transcendence off in this 4 versus 6. Captain popping that tag visor into healing targets. Is now the monkey trying to swat people off of this cart. Hypo Jones is just hoping for a previous step off, but now Hook resets once again with another Genji ult. Takes out both of the healers. This could be what TPC needed to get with 60 seconds remaining.
Continuing on with this fight, Jim staying very healthy as the monkey, able to pick up everyone else, as well as Sexy Hook resets, able to get the final picks that they need to get the second point of Route 66.
Yeah, Tide Pod having a little bit of trouble swallowing down a couple pods there at the beginning, but once they've gotten into the mood of it, they remember.
We should definitely point out Balo Sexy doing a fantastic job on the Tracer.
Yeah,
this is
pulse bombs a new wrinkle for Ball Sexy, not something we've seen much of him traditionally on, and he's playing it fairly well. He's forced Josh Jaco to swap over to the McCree now, was not like in the Genji, as this will hopefully help him a bit more with this Tracer that's just running amok.
Both sides are looking for the battle, trying to engage that fight. Someone is just waiting to get cut out of position. Ball Sexy coming behind, failing with the pulse bomb as the fight continues in the lines of the fighting over the payload.
Yeah, but this cart's still moving 1 inch at a time as this fight is breaking off behind the semi-truck. Now we've got a Genji ult coming out of Hook resets. Can he go big? He gets the nano. He's got 1, he's got 2, he's got 3!
That's huge. He canceled the Reinhardt as well. Pretty much guaranteeing his team a very quick
kill. They can keep 3 on the cart and they can still push their tanks to these spawn doors. I don't know if they're going to be able to touch. They made it out though. The tanks were not able to body block quite enough. But him and Scotch go down immediately. Now it's just Cap'n trying to trace his way around. Dano is on this cart as well. But T-Mac has a Zenyatta alive and a nice move on that for 2 ult. Not a chance to pop anyone through the Transcendence. This may take its time, but this should be a point. As Hibbs dropping the big bell. They are buying a lot of time here on this defense.
Yeah, showing the power
Tracer
of
goes
the spawn advantage.
Yep, they're still trickling out, but they are slowing it down himself. 3v3 here, 3v3. But more and more people coming out.
Danko on that man, doing the work. But a debuff bomb being popped outside the card still finds nobody. But now Hook resets has his second Genji ult of this fight. And just like the first one bought them all this round, the second one will buy them the win with 10 seconds remaining. And yeah, Tide Pod Challengers kind of flirting with disaster there. Every single point coming down to the wire, but they managed to take all 3 of them, so they have the opportunity to win this on defense.
And you just have to give a lot of credit to the DPS players of the Tide Pod Challengers being able to utilize their ults just to secure that extra bit of space to allow them to push to the 3-point victory.
Yeah, man, this last week in the map now, Hook Reset's being a bit more the player we expected him to be coming into the season. You know, he's getting that healthy amount of Genji in his diets. That's really all it takes. You know, right there, the base of the food pyramid, Genji.
Oh, and
After that, you'll be set.
Are we seeing Hook Resets playing the Sombra? Is he bringing Sombra back into the fold?
Yeah,
Well-
it's about time we see somebody attempting this. Sombra, very, 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 very good right now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a few more of our top DPS players playing her, actually. But this seems like the kind of pick I could see Cal excelling on. So we will see just how in practice this is, as it's going to be him and Sexy taking the DPS spots again with Sombra and Junkrat to round out this defense as iPod Challengers, at least feigning us to think they want to hold deep.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to opt for a triple tank Bastion lineup. So hoping that they can keep the Bastion alive, just allowing Captain to go on his point and click adventure on the cart.
Yeah, this is going to be rough, though. I don't know how I feel about this. You really, on Route 66, need somebody that can get on top of Big Girls. They do not have a single mobility pick on this team, barring Mercy going for a slingshot up there solo. Which I would love to see, but I don't think we're going to see that one out of Cupid Pete.
Yeah,
Dude,
although
some Battle Mercy. That's where it's at.
Oh, but Hook resets. He is in the back. He might try to hack this Bastion. Watch out for the big play from the Hook.
He's thinking
Here he
about
comes.
it. He
He's
gives the
coming
call
in.
out.
No one knows.
Oh, he's hacking
No one
him.
knows.
He hacked him.
Bastion. Bastion, you're standing up. You're a biped. You don't want to be a biped. So resets finally punished for his hacking crimes. And this is looking good for Trevor Yard. Now, as I say that, they lose Cap, and they do have a res available, which Cuban Pete is going to pull off, and this is going very well for Team Jeff. As they mop everyone
That's
in their way up.
full 6. 6 for 6.
nice clean defense on for their offense for this payload.
What?
Yep, a clean defense on their offense.
Yeah, you got to defend the offense when you're on the Bastion tip. If you knew that, maybe your Bastion comp should be taking point 1.
Dude. It's not my fault my team can't keep me safe.
But oh, Ball is Sexy coming in with the Riptide, showing you how you beat Bastion. You're standing still. Take that Riptide.
there's no one on the
Somebody's gotta get that cart. Oh, Cal. Hooker says does not get on the cart even though he was there and his team was coming to contest. A misplay from him in a fight that is looking like they had a chance of winning because they're going to get a bunch of kills here. And that's actually a super costly mistake out of Hook Resets.
Definitely not having a very good position for what the spawn advantage of the offense will provide. Need to try to get that cart pushed forward a little bit, and hopefully on that defense after the doors close, just spawn camp from that point, and it's the hardest thing to get into that cart and keep on pushing.
Josh, they go up on the sledge, but he's going to take the EMP, and you can't get back into tank mode when you get hit with that EMP. Will it be enough? Because they've lost 2 feet. Now, Jim gets a hammer onto a few here, and Ball Sexy rains down on Captain from high. Now, Junkrat ready to drop another tire towards this cart. Will he find anybody? He finds Hibbs, and this is looking like a defensive stop out of the challengers.
Oh, a nice hook from Josh Danko, almost killing Hook Resets from that Sombra. Just trying to do what he can, get a single pick, anything that will help at this point. Sombra at the back, still doing a lot to just be a nuisance to everyone on Jeff and the Overwatch team as they continue on with this triple tank lineup. A Hulk coming out, trying to get Jim out of position. But a nice big hook coming from Josh Danko on the hog as he is in the big mega room, trying to do what he can. And
there we go, Tire coming in, going to track down Cuban Pete, punish him for that waste of a Valkyrie as we get another good fight out of the Tide Pod Challengers. They're now kind of established. And man, you've got to be thinking the Tide Pod Challengers really wishing they had held on that first point right now.
Yeah. They're feeling a lot better, I'm sure, but they're not doing bad for themselves here. 2 holds so far, only a few more to go. Got a little
Josh
over
Danko
3
over to
minutes.
the Pharah in what should be a good situation to beat the Pharah. He is going up with his friends, the Mercy. Man, BOL is just chucking out so much danger from on high. So hard to get that, so we get a 1-for-1 trade here. There's no doubt Josh Nico finds a second. This may be the chance, but Scott just popping a bongo that does not hit many. And BOL takes him out for that one. Both the healers for the challenges have gone down. This might be the push for Jeff from the Overwatch team.
That's possible. Yeah, Hooker Sets there sitting on the back line trying to see what he could do. Evilite as well, coming out from his enemy team spawn. Gonna have a bit of time here to go.
Yeah, Cabin picking him off for that one. And that should be the end of the fight, but now here we go. Genji coming in, Cabin with the Dragon Blades, finds Crystallize. Can he find more? It's not looking like it.
We're able to get
Scott's
that
hammer
big.
finding Hooker Sets way back in the deep line where puts this team down 2 people. Tripod Challenge is gonna have a fairly tough hold here.
They're going to hold this. Teammate with it.
Down.
Yeah, good hammer down, but teammate's going to answer it with Transcendence. So the only thing found there is Evelite with the Diva Bomb. And there is a res on the BOL Sexy here. This is once again looking good for the defense as Josh and Pete trying to find things, but Cuban Pete already goes down, so now it's just Cap'n and Josh. Cap'n alone now. Needs to reset this one, and he will.
Definitely solid defense coming out of the Tide Pod challengers, making sure no one gets in their way. As a minute and 30 coming in for Jeff from the Overwatch team to try to get this second point.
Probably in 2-fight territory for Team Jeff right here. Similar situation to where Tide Pod challengers were at this point. Crucialize kind of feels a jump there. A little bit of danger. No, he's fine. Makes up, but Avalite does get D-Mec'd up on high. Now, Hooker Sets dropping an EMP in the back line. Looking for some picks, but they haven't found anything. BOL Sexy going to be chucking in the Riptire, trying to find something. So a 5-on-5. Now he takes out Hibbs.
Team Gun at this fight looks like a simple route as they're going to be going on to the 60 seconds, 1 minute remaining.
Yep.
And it looks like a couple more and a pause coming in.
All right. Well, now we got our pause. Don't know if we've had any so far, so time to do a little shout out to our sponsors. Swift, tell me about water here.
Well, water, it's great. You know, hydration, it's good for you. It's so good that hydration is even in the Overwatch League. And if it's good enough for the Overwatch League, why wouldn't you want a little bit of that in your life? You know, it's free unless you want to pay for it. So drink it. Cheers.
Well
Cheers to
said.
And I didn't
Perfect.
pay for it.
Feels good, man.
All right. That's the only shuttle we got time for as we are heading back in here. So 1-fight territory, a lot of ults available for Team Jeff from the Overwatch team. They are a few % away from having 4, where there are currently none available for the Tide Pod challengers. So this is, the 1-fight territory, as good a situation as they can be in. As long as Cam makes out your, ooh, Cuban Pete goes down. Jeff from the Overwatch team has to be very careful not to give up an extra pick here. And as I say that, Scotch charges Jim from downtown, so it's looking like this fight is going to break out in the sloppy fashion.
As the fight comes in, and a big grab coming in from Nano, as well as the shatter. Teaming getting that trance out, so that making sure everyone stays healthy. But Cap able to out-damage the trance healing and take out the support after support. Sombra also getting taken out, as they should be able to get the second point, and an amazing comeback.
Yeah, they had the ults and they were able to use them. They've still got the Pharmacy ults available going into this next fight as well, as they've got a long way to go and not long to do it. This last point on Route 66, pretty tough to push, and they maybe can only afford to lose 1 fight here as they give up Cap'n early. Shouldn't cost them as they're close to their spawn and they've got the res available.
They'll have to be careful. Repeating that mistake a few times could very quickly spell the end of their push here.
There we go, Josh Danko trying to range justice, mostly going into a Reinhardt shield, but he still takes 1 in a mech with him. His hammer downs are being traded. This is looking good for Jeff from the Overwatch team. Trying to get some stagger kills here. Mercy's going to go down very late, but Diva has stopped this card from being pushed. But Evelite maybe needs to reset with CPU. Evelite actually going to make it out.
Oh my, that's
better
huge.
play.
And we have to give credit to where credit's due. Scotch getting that huge hammer down, making sure that 3 people get knocked down and able to just clean up, helping them push the cart even further to their tie.
And there we go, Diva Bomb coming in. This one going to find one as the Riptire finds another. This could be to stop the Tide Pod Challenge. There's only 20 seconds remaining. There is not time for a reset here. As Hook resets in the backline, popping the EMP. And Jeff from the Overwatch team coming so close just to break our hearts. Raise your Jeffs and pray to God, folks, because that's the only way they're about to make it onto this card in time.
Yep, Dano and Dango trying to get on here. Dango's gonna make it!
But Team has the Transcends, they lose Dango, they lose Cuban Feeds. Oh no. The Christmas music, the good feels, the clutch plays, and all wasn't enough. Captain and Hims are both going down on the card. Now Dano is dead. Overtime is ticking away, and Tide Pod Challengers are going to take Route 66. So, play of the game going to be Hook resets with that golden Dragon Blade just popping off all that long. And look at here, a winning ult on the final points on attack just slices through everyone, gets this card inches from the end here.
I think we all know he was making weep noises in his heart every time he ulted.
I hope so.
But a solid map coming out of the Tide Pod Challengers, able to secure a 3-2 victory. But you have to give Jeff from the Overwatch team a lot of credit to where credit is due, getting a lot of good team plays, a lot of good coordination. Although could have made a few too many mistakes to not give them the win.
Yeah, it's so rough for them, but at least this was a bit of a momentum changer. They'd been not good on this last 2-week stretch they've been on, and they at least capped multiple points this map. It has been a long time since that has happened. Maybe just started building some momentum, as they definitely had opportunities to win that map, but we'll see. UCP obviously has a lot of very different ways it can play out.
It's going to be exciting to see what happens, especially since both Captain and Hook resets are the two real big Genji players of the league, except for maybe, what is it? Is it Freefee who also plays Genji?
Yeah, Freefee plays it a bit, but it's much more of a rotation pick. These are the two guys who, at their best, are defaulting to the Genji. And it looks like, they're answering the call.
And if we remember, last season, as in last competitive season, Hook resets is basically a Mercy main. Now look at him. You too can be a DPS main if you put your hearts to it.
I feel like this is the intervention I needed.
It's time swift.
Y through Superstar 2, are you watching this? AJS 0 will be the fourth in a long and storied lineage of Gingong Genjongs, coming to carry your team straight to the finals. You've been studying your VODs while I studied the Blade.
All right. Well,
let's hear
I'm
your
looking
best.
forward to you busting that out next week. Then
we need to hear your best autistic weeb screech.
I'm saving it for the opponents.
Yeah, he's got to save it for later, baby. I need to hear that next week when he's popping off, getting his 6K.
All right, so out of this match, we've got pretty similar comp coming out of the Tide Pod Challenges. Sombra, Junkrat going to be the core of it. On the other side, we got Cap'n on Widowmaker, and actually Dano going to be the one on the Sombra, with Josh swapping back over to the tank. Some pretty general picks as they use this Diva speed properly, as Sombra is going in on the flank. No one's going to know he's there while Cap'n is looking up the front. This could go well, as Tide Pod Challengers are pushing onto the 4 right now. The Sombra, though, is starting to backcap, hoping to collapse lines, and Evelyn, without hesitation, turns towards this point. But now, Jim is dead. There is no tank on the backside of Tide Pod Challengers. This Hook resets wins the Sombra face-off. But now BOL actually goes down as well, and Team Jeff from the Overwatch team has the advantage here, pushing onto this point.
And continuing on with the fight, Scotch trying to get a charge to what he can. Able to get a kill onto Crystallize. Mercy down. Diva down. D-Mech. And also Sombra down. And it looks like they're getting a burst tick, and they should be able to get this first point.
Yeah, very quick, aggressive clean cap out of Jeff from the Overwatch team. It's going to leave them plenty of time
Yeah,
to
that's
try and get the second
honestly
point.
a situation where objective focus kind of cost Tide Pod Challengers, with Jim dying as Avalite immediately turned and left his team to drown there. But we won't have time for that. As Scott's going on the point, he gets a hammer down onto the tanks, going to be chucking there with the D-Ball. They have found Jim first for the second fight in a row. Human Pete, Valkyrie up in the skies, keeping his team alive as they are trying to find some extra mixer. Ball Sexy is swapped over to the Roadhog just in time to die. And that's both of the healers down as well. Jeffrey Overwatch team is in a 6 versus 2 right now. And Captain, uncontested, up on some high ground. Gonna be looking for some headshots. Hims is down here though. That's a first death for Jeffrey Overwatch team, but I don't know if that's going to matter as Cupid is able to get the res off. Now T-Mic does make it onto the point where the Trans says this is buying a lot of time for his tanks to make it back onto this cart. But they lose quick resets. Josh Danko has a default that's going to be really hard to get away from. That's buying some percentage here. Going to be a second tick for Jeff from the Overwatch team. Once again, trying to get these boots off of the point. This point just ticking up bit by bit. Jim does not find this. That was Scott with the hammer down. Didn't need to find much. But they're finding the kills. Now Hook Reset's trying to buy time on the Sombra. Lucio's there as well. Does he have the mad speed? He does not. And that is going to be it. Team kill. And in just under 2.5 minutes, Jeff from the Overwatch team take both points on Anubis.
Wow. Just wow. Like, if you think about it, the engage was clean. They had Scotch coming in with that shatter, then followed up by a Diva Bomb. And the fight went on so long that Scotch was able to get up another shatter. And you have to give the man credit. He is getting consistent 3-man shatters each and every time he has that ultimate up.
Yeah, a few really good plays out of the Reinhardts there. And not how we expected this to play out, with Jim on the other side being the first to fall for his team in both of those fights. And ultimately ends up costing them both points here on Anubis. So this is, I mean, really as good as you can ask for from Jeff and the Overwatch team. They have, they can either win outright on defense here, or at the very least have a huge time advantage going into round 3 if we do. And on the defense here, Dano going to be swapping over to the Bastion. So we've got a very strange comp from Team Jeff from the Overwatch team. But with the Bastion damage, I think it could work out.
They're going to boost the Bastion up to the high ground. That's what they're going to do. I will say, I'm very much appreciative of Josh Danko playing the Diva. He's going back to his roots, where he was able to almost get to Grandmaster, going back to that Grandmaster hype, and playing the crap out of that Diva.
So they are slow boosting this here. They're taking a lot of time to set this one up. They do not want to make the mistake, but I think they have to stick with the May at this point. They're taking too long here. But no, Captain's going back this one. You don't have the time to switch. You don't have the time to switch.
They don't even have
That's
Scotch
not
up
good.
there?
This is what? They have no idea what they're doing. Oh my.
What the heck?
I could do 3.
This point's
That's all
gonna be
I have.
capped by the time he gets back.
The Soldier 76 just making it out of the first point right now. Look at that. They hooked the Bastion. The entire point of going up there is you have the Orisa to make the Bastion unengageable. And in the 4 tank, this would have destroyed the Tide Pod Challengers. An absolute lack of thought comes out of Jeff from the Overwatch team. I'm embarrassed.
Cap.
I'm ashamed. I'm upset right now.
Yep. And with
Welcome
that,
to the bad plays of the week.
that's an even faster cap. Like,
They have 7 minutes.
And now they have
whole minutes.
major ult advantage going on to point 2 here. They will have ults if this turns into a long fight, and they are rushing straight onto this point. Josh Danko needs to come up big with this Diva Bomb. He's chucking it into the back line, and it's going to be blocked by the Reinhardt. Now Jim charging on this point. They've lost Avalite, but they still have 3 tanks available. Now they've lost Jim. Will 2 tanks and 2 healers be enough here? I don't think so, but now they've found both of the DPS from Jeff from the Overwatch team. It's looking like they maybe want to keep by this, but a res onto Dano, going to push the Tide Pod Challengers back out.
And solid hold, Scotch able to help Dano out on that Bastion, making sure he stays alive, able to dish out tons of damage. And all in all, stopping the push in its track, not allowing them to get very much momentum. But there are almost 6 ults available for Jeff and the Overwatch team. Coming with the deep bomb.
With that Diva Bomb, going to just buy some time. Is Jim in the corner, gonna take out Scott before he has a chance to counter him. Can they stop this ulting bash? If Dano's found crystallized, that's one of the healers, that's a big target. Focus on top by challenges. Now a Graviton Surge coming out of the TPC is going to shred through Jeff from the Overwatch team. It is just Dano on the Bastion, and he goes down to Human Peak. Valve over the point, looking for the tilt res here. Does not find the miracle. Scotch goes down as well. And this is a huge opportunity for the Tide Pod Challengers. They've got their first pick. They're trying to body block. Josh Dango not able to get onto this point. But Dano and Hibbs been making it from the other side. They're now making the trades here. Tide Pod Challengers, though, consistently letting one contest here. They can never quite get everyone off at this point. Scotch now charging. Somehow, we have not seen 2 ticks. And Scotch charges off of the point. Not the proper play. And he had a chance to buy time for his team. And once again, Scotch, he just straight up doesn't know how to play the points.
And for that, it's round 2, baby. 5.5 minutes for each team. Looking hot.
This is going to be a 12-minute long plays of the game montage next week, as we have so many plays from all 3 of these matches to showcase that have been atrocious plays in the Batty League. Who would have seen it coming?
So how many rounds of overtime are you guys predicting?
This is it.
I agree, actually. I don't think some of the same tactical mistakes can be made again. And I think somebody's going to hold on defense.
Oh, I think you're very wrong. I think we're at least going to go up to 6.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I don't know if my poor heart can handle it.
These boys ain't fast enough to do 6.
Well, luckily, we can continue going on with our sponsors. Water.
We already sponsored water. Get the fucking together, man.
Yeah, but I'm exhausted, dude. I need all the water I can get.
That's true.
You know, imagine if I had to pay for this. I might be like, oh, my voice hurts from all this intense casting I've been doing tonight.
Well, you know what I really want to talk about is we got the corner secret bastion.
Oh, no.
The point looks like it's open, but you got a bastion waiting in the back corner. We getting cheeky.
Look at this, guys. Bastion behind an Orisa shield. I bet Overwatch League teams haven't even thought this far ahead.
No way. Not a chance.
Tide Pod Challenge is going to get a pretty free roam up onto this high ground here as they are moving the Bastion up, contesting through this Orisa barrier.
Here comes Jim coming through hot, but he's going to go down. We've seen a mass mayhem here as everyone's starting to pour onto the point, and it is
got
very,
Dano,
very
though.
good. The Tide Pod Challengers.
He gets killed going for a really greedy res up on the top there. The Tide Pod Challengers are too tanky, too furious on this point. Josh Danko the last to fall as Hibbs is coming through. Oh, Hibbs, you're going to get staggered, my friends. Literally rookie mistake there as he is barely going to spawn in time for this point to contest. And there is speed coming out of the Tide Pod Challengers. They have the Lucio. Hibbs now just spawned. He'll get out of this point, but not really lined up where he wanted to be.
They got blood on the mine.
No time. Bastion, once again, out to the side here. Not having a clear sight line in, but the Tide Pod Challengers have not quite made it forward. They lose Jim, and now Josh Danko is taking his cue. They get the hook onto Evolite, but he's going to just barely make it out. Now Josh Danko chucking the Diva Bomb and does not find anyone, but it will break this fight up as hooks are being traded in the front door.
And Tide Pod is building their ult economy, almost having 6 full ults to work with against the 3 of Jeffrey from the Overwatch team.
Yeah, still putting this session to good work. Kind of moving around, taking off shots wherever he can, mowing down EP tanks. But Jim with a massive hammer down, followed it with the gravitas, just to be the entire team just about. As we see the Kamehameha coming through, mowing people down from the Tide Pod Challenge left and right. Ball and Sexy gonna try and blast people away to stabilize the situation. And somehow, it's actually looking decent.
Yeah, Bastion was, once he got back into this fight, he was off the side of the point, uncontested. and Dano making enough damage rain down to hold this point for his team. They don't even give up a tick off of what looked like a perfect wombo combo. But when you don't have a proper DPS ult to chain into it, it just wasn't fast enough from the Tide Pods.
Yeah, I mean, that was one, you know, like you said, DPS ult, that was one DPS ult away from just being 5k, murder the Bastion, super easy 3-6. But that's what you risk, that's kind of the trade-off. You don't get to have everyone be super DPS.
Once again, setting up in the front.
Dano getting some point-click adventure MVP, giving us a tour to Bastion.
Take people off the point a little bit. 2 beats drop on both sides as the fight continues. Looking for that first pick. Jim getting a nice charge onto Danko, taking the tanks into the back line.
Yeah, but Dano doesn't find anything with the Bastion ult, which could have been the defining one in this fight. That may be the opportunity the Tide Pods are looking for, as they've now found 3 kills in this fight. Bastion will be trying to reestablish on the point, but now Jim and Crystallized do go down for the offense here. He gets the res out of Cap'n. It's a slight man advantage for the attackers, but a spawn advantage for the defense as Cap'n's coming in with a damage boost and a whole hog. But it is
another
not
whole hog.
Easter Sunday yet. Is now another Graviton going to find 2. Third gets sucked in, and they just now get the kills into it. Tide Pod Challengers finally aggressively taking this point.
And coming on in another big team fight as it continues. Sexy getting a nice big pick on the other hog. T-Mic taking out the mech. Sexy taking out Scotch. All in all, Tide Pod Challengers are continuing on with the fight. Is it a team kill? Not yet. Cap gonna try to come in with the Tracer, seeing if he can
Trace
get
is
any
on.
sort of. Just like that, Tracer's off.
It took a lot longer, but the Tide Pod Challengers do get to 4 points.
To 2. Switching sides.
Now, can Jeff from the Overwatch team match the 4?
They've got a decent amount of time to do it. Obviously, it didn't take them that long the first time. They've got more than double that heading into round 4 here.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes, definitely more than enough time, as we've seen all 3 of these caps so far. Been less than that. So, definitely possible to continue this pace, but I'm really curious to see what Tide Pod Challengers bust out to try and hold this first point, which has never lasted for more than, 30, 40 seconds tops.
Time will tell, as we see
Attackers incoming in
looking like
30 seconds.
Tide Pod's taking some time to figure out what they want to run here, but settling with the Junkrat Soldier composition out of their DPS players. Happy birthday to you too, Cal.
Happy birthday, Valk.
Oh yeah, actually, by the way, guys, if you have a chance, wish our boy Valkyrio a happy birthday. Obviously was hoping to get a win for him on his birthday, but you just can't handle the easy clapping. But, maybe game lost drunk is the perfect way to celebrate one's birthday. As we once again have Cap'n coming in on this Widowmaker. Sombra from Dano going to be the core of this composition. Out. Ooh, T-Mic gets the pick onto Cap'n early, though. Sexy is up on this high ground. This is a good start for the defense.
As these Tide Pod Challengers, making sure that no one can steal their stash of Tide Pods. Continues to fight on this high ground in the middle here. If they can poke out any pick.
They're gonna have a solid hold, but Dano gonna Sombra the visibility sneak onto the backline and begin the capping. Draw a bit of pressure out. You see the fight busting out all over the map now. Tim gonna whip a hammer down on the enemy team as everyone's going back and tanks clashing in the front lines. Mercy's gonna go down for both sides.
Hook resets, getting a pick after pick after pick, making sure that this defense stays on. The Tide Pod Challengers' secret stash of Tide Pods. Oh, but he goes down himself as they continue on. Evil Light being the only one to actually hold on to it, and it is going over to Jeff from the Overwatch team. Baby Diva taking more and more of point number 1.
And now they're able to get 2 more bodies on. That's going to cap this point. They've got 4 minutes to force a round 5 here. will they do it? They're coming in currently at an ult disadvantage. Hook Resets has a chance to force something big with this Riptire, and both of the tanks are close, and even the rest of the team not that far away. But this fight could get explosive fast, as there's a lot of people over 70 on the offense too, as Dano jumps in and jumps out.
Junkrat's Hire coming in on the right side, gonna see what it can find. Is looking for it. It's gonna go ahead and find both the healers. Hook Resets making a massive plays here.
That should be enough to save the rest of these ults for the defense, as they get the team kill there. Only a Riptire required, and now they will have 5 ults heading into this next fight.
Yeah, that is as good as it gets, really. You start having them commit to the fight like right as they're all deep in your team. Tyre takes out both the healers, making it real easy for the rest of your team to mop up. Doesn't even have to use an extra ult. Definitely an ideal spot for the Tide Pod challengers here.
Once again, jumping the Overwatch team coming up the front. They've got 3 ults of their own, and they're about to have ult the supports as well, so this could be very explosive. Josh Danko going to be leading with this default, but it does not find anybody. I don't think that was quite the angle he wanted to shoot it into, but Captain did find T-Mick with the pulse bomb. Now hammer down, only going to find 1 is the defense dropping their D.Va bomb onto the point. Everlight finds 2.
And the D.Va match also squeezing in there. Very, very big D.Va ult. Gonna make sure that this team wins this fight. But definitely over this team very assertive on this, and they did get a tick of the pie for their efforts.
Yes, being very vindictive here on their offense. Still having 3 minutes almost to try to get these last 2 ticks, and with Scotch's hammer down still up, it shouldn't take them too hard to get their other ults up.
Yeah, ult economy is in a bit better spot for Jeff to Overwatch this than see if they can put that to work, as Scott's just getting in there, swinging away with that hammer.
Oh, and a change from Captain onto the Widowmaker, getting a nice pick onto the Zenyatta, making sure that there is 1 less healer on the defense. Scotch getting taken down himself. BOL Sexy also getting taken down, but going to get revived, making sure that they have a hit scan player. Ooh, another nice pick from the Widowmaker, taking out the McCree. Josh Danko making sure he keeps his team, giving them the space, and they get the point.
Once again, these teams cap both points about 30 seconds apart. We're heading into round 5. Jeff from the Overwatch team has now capped more points tonight than they have in like the last 3 weeks combined.
Yeah, big thing to point out here is that swing of 30 seconds has gone in the favor of Jeff beforehand. On this last push, Tide Pod challengers were up about 20 seconds. Now they're down a little over 20. Jeff the Overwatch it. Making some good adjustments. It's working out for them, just not enough quite yet.
Already in this double overtime, do you think we're gonna get up to 6?
I imagine one team will get to 6. I don't think both will.
Yeah, give me a 6-5 win here. No one's holding this first points. Oh my! Oh, I got nervous. I saw the May hover. I saw a Bastion switch. I wasn't really paying that close of attention, but it is not going to be the SS boosted friendship coming through. It's gonna be the old-fashioned Bastion, where you set them up somewhere. All 6 people are there to fight the first fight.
And a very, very interesting strat that they both continue to want to use this Bastion. Found some success in it, but both sides have also found that even with the Bastion, they're still losing.
4, 3,
Yeah, we've got to try and set them up on that left high ground there.
incoming. Defend objective
Give them a nice overview of the point.
People on the D.Va getting a nice hop, try to scout out the area as they fall into the high ground of the right side. Trying to take on this building. A Bastion is sneakily waiting for them.
Sneaky Bastion, come out, Tide Pod challengers, walk through the door to your doom.
Anticlimactic stealth Bastion.
I'm
But
just anti-pain.
that sounds incredibly unfortunate.
It was, but it was unfortunate for the defense too. Is Dano, he's now getting some ulti, a big rate of damage going through there. He now has configuration tank available as he is busted through a mech.
Yep, there we go. Where was that earlier?
No.
We've been dancing around in that room for so long.
run.
Now Riptire coming in, trying to cheat its way around, takes out Evelite, but no one else.
And they continue on the fight, making sure that they are able to clean up everyone else, and this first point should be going the way of Tide Pod Challengers. Hopefully they can continue on this momentum to get up to 6 points.
This is going to be very close. They do not have many ults, close even.
Nope.
Maybe a grab if this is a long enough fight. They will have a drop to beat, but they're about to push into Dano's Bastion and probably quite a few more. There should be a Bongo. There should be a Graviton. There's even... There could be 5 ults here if this turns into a long fight.
Oh, very
the
easily.
defense.
And they
And
only
this
have
is-
one fight to make this happen. They have to make this count. 30 seconds on the clock.
Dano and Josh have the opportunity, if they find a big grab here, to just eviscerate the opposition. The Graviton has done its part, but they were not able to burst through Jim's shield because the Bastion was so hard. Jim charges him but dies immediately. Dano is now raining damage. No configuration tank necessary. Dano destroys the Tide Pod Challengers. And we finally get the team kill and a defensive hold for the first time on Anubis.
And although we won't be able to see 6 points, is it going to be 5? Well, actually, we might see the 6 points just because it'll automatically go. So will it be 5-4 or will it be 6-5?
What if after all of these extra rounds we just get a fucking draw?
That's what's going to happen.
Oh my god, I'm about to anti-cum again.
This is about to be the most climactic, anticlimactic match. They get me, they tease me, they get me so ready,
Daddy, please.
and then they draw.
I don't know. This
Dude,
just
no
feels
one's
like
helped this first point. They're not going to get the second one. It's going to be a 5-5 sadness.
this just feels like the biggest blue balling in my life.
That's all this is. That's all this is. One
Well,
giant
boys,
blue ball.
let's pray for our balls that we get a definitive winner here. Jeff from the Overwatch team lining this up to push one last time.
Not opting to go with a Bastion on the defense. Seeing that maybe
And
they
they know
can
they
get
gotta
more.
mix it up. The Bastion
gotta
is
mix it
not
up.
working for them. It worked for Dano, but it did not work for the Tide Pods.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Look like they're trying to get what they can. Ball said to getting a nice pick onto him, but look at Revive to continue on with this push. Opting to take on the side streets. See if they can get the high ground and meet them in the middle.
Ooh,
Also
they find
getting hits
Hibs again. Oh, that could be a big trade. Now, Cabin is up there looking for heads to shoot.
Dano's finding
And
kills.
he clicked them. This is maybe what Jeff from the Overwatch team needed. This is looking good, although they lose Scotch, entering a little too aggressively. But I don't know if that's going to matter. Jeff from the Overwatch team looking like they can push this one onto the point now. They are charging bodies on.
Look, Reese's
Just
trying to be
giving us a
anti-hero.
ball charge there.
Yeah, this
That's
might be.
that is going to be the point.
It's gonna be fast enough. They might be able to get 2 fights off as well.
60 seconds.
Yes,
They only have
have
60.
a minute and a half remaining. They
Yeah,
have a
30
Lucio,
seconds
so
on
they have
that
a chance
overtime.
here. Take
And
this
Dano-
fast.
They
play
only,
the two.
they only
You
need,
only need a
they
tick.
need 1 tick of the pie.
And they
That's
have
all
Dano
it is.
coming up with the EMP. So that should be
Yeah,
a
maybe.
big ult to be using in this next upcoming fight.
Now watch for the big EMP. This could win the Tide Pod Challengers their map, but they lose Cuban Pete. It's a trade though. They're committing Captain's Widowmaker ult, but there's a res on Ball Sexy.
Dano
They
meanwhile
have
to be a
looking
bit of
for
a
that
stall-out.
EMP.
They have to wait for Cuban Pete to get back into the fight. Reese's coming back in from behind, seeing if he can do anything to stop the spawns from coming back. But Captain getting a big pick, making sure that there is no Genji to be annoying.
And
Yeah,
that's
here
the
we go.
big
Dano's
tap.
gonna look for the hack. He's gonna EMP. But Jim, meanwhile, is gonna get a big 3-man ult. No follow-up on it, but gonna buy us some time. But
Oh, that
here we
grab
go.
is on.
Ult's falling away, and it is looking very good for Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Josh with the graviton that his team needed. They had the chance to win this map for the first time ever. Can Hook Resets come through? Ball Sexy and Hook Resets get 2. They are still holding this point. They have bought time for their teammates to get back. I can't believe this. The DPS from Tide Pod. I thought this was over. Now
It's
they've
not
got
over yet. We got Dano and Danko on the
point.
point fighting off against Crystallized and Jim. Doing the best they can to do whatever
No,
they
there
can
goes
to try and
Dano.
get this last tip, but it's not going to be enough.
Light was body blocking. He was making this entry very difficult for Jeff from the Overwatch team. They're getting bodies onto the point. They've lost both their healers. They've lost their Widowmaker. They've lost their Scotch. And they managed to hold in what I thought was for sure going to be a win. We get a draw.
Well, it may have been a blue balling, but that ending was rather intense, if I have to say so. And time for a Dano's point-and-click adventure. I'm TK Thrifty, and I'm going to take you along on a safari ride. In goes Jim, down goes BOL Sexy, left click, mowing down, 1, 2, 3. Oh look, there's an evil light. And hook resets.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I just want to say, ow, my balls. They hurt a lot. Please don't ever do that again.
Well, fortunately for us, we are about to blow everything all over Lijiang Tower because there is no drawing on King of the Hill.
Oh, thank God. Please, please release me from this.
That's what you think. This is actually just one eternal edge. They're just gonna sit. They're gonna get to the third map, and they're both just gonna sit there, and they're all gonna stare and just hug it out on the point because no one's allowed to win.
I feel like we need Dr. Sheridan here if we want to talk about edging.
Dr. Wang, please jerk me off.
Anyway, it's the dawn of a new day, a new map, and maybe a new team, as both Tide Pods and Jeff from the Overwatch team play King of the Hill map, which is hopefully not going to last 20 minutes for a single map.
I feel like the odds are good. It's very hard for that to happen. But you never know for sure.
I've been wrong before. But as we wait for the next map, who do you think we can vote on as team's sexiest player?
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah,
fucking...
you can't really.
Yeah,
It was a loaded
it's literally
question
BOL
the
of
entire
Sexy.
time. It's BOL of Sexy. I mean, look at that. He's got the icon. It is a literal BOL of Sexy. Is this icon?
Is that what a BOL of Sexy looks like?
Yeah.
Like that. Remember when Reaper used to have little orbs that he collected? You remember? But we should be heading off into Lijiang Tower as map 3. And both sides definitely playing some good dive, playing some good death ball, getting hopefully we'll see Josh Danko on the Zarya on the control point portion of the map. Definitely always a treat to see, considering he is able to generate so many ultimates so fastly with that one hero. And just continuing on to wait, making sure that team members are both good to go. Waiting on a few things here. And I'm being told we need to stall for time because reasons.
Yeah, Josh Danko making that AFK call. The 30-minute Anubis can be difficult on some folks' bladders. We know how it is. You know, we're all professionals here. It happens. Not everyone uses the piss jug. Fortunately.
And you're the only one here living in 3018.
I imagine by 3018 we're not going to go to the bathroom anymore, actually.
I feel like we still will.
Nah, dude, that'll be something like Savages do. Savages will be like, I'm too cool for the fucking upgrades where, like, my body manages to not create waste. That I mean, it's 1,000 years from now, dude. We're going to be half android by then. I think if
I
you
don't
want to
know
be
about
like 110% human at that point, you're going to be a fucking weirdo.
I mean, I think there's going to be a civil war between human purists and the androids.
Well, that'll be fucking easy then.
Yeah, dude, I'm on team android, man. Humans
Yeah,
suck.
dude.
Think about it. What happens if an electronic like an EMP actually goes off? Only the humans would survive.
Well, that's why
Now,
you gotta...
dude, if you're like a cyber arm, you're fine. As long
Yeah,
as you're, yeah. It's like, oh, I can't use my arm for right now.
we got 1,000 years to figure out the solution, but I know we will. Humans are capable of great things, like creating something better than them.
Yeah. Or Faraday cages, man. That shit'll stop an EMP.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But enough about the nerd science shit. On to some Overwatch. Where great granddaddy Dano is gonna take us with some Torbjorn.
Not a chance.
I can dream.
Well, as we all know, that dream is a sad, sad lie, as androids will take over the world.
You know what's not sad in the lie though? Josh Danko on that Doomfist.
Yeah,
Looking for it.
Book resets hovering it. This is... No way. No way.
Are we gonna get a double Doomfist day?
No, I think they're both going to swap. As Josh is already swapping here. As Dano going over to his third role of the night. The old Dano special.
Yeah, he's gotta add things to check off. Let's see. We gotta keep track on the list. He added Bastion. He added Sombra. What else? What else he's got left?
Those are some new picks. I mean, there are not many. I need to see him on the Doomfist still.
5, 4,
That is true. We have not seen him on the Doomfist.
1.
Right, it's looking like we're going to have Dive coming out of the Tide Pod Challengers. The a pretty old school version with the Ana as their second healer. Going up against the fairly expected comp for the one that has DPSing out of Team Javis. They get the early sleep onto Josh Danko. Pokesets just slicing right through that team, completely splitting their line apart, but he's going to die in the process. Decent start for Jeffrey Overwatch team. They get Jim down as well. Now they're up 2.
Continuous fight, able to pick up piece after piece of the Tide Pod challengers, making sure that it's not a whole Tide Pod that they have to eat.
There you go. Point held.
And continuing on with this defense, an interesting triple tank strategy coming out. They are not running the Zarya, so not getting that super sustaining damage from a full charge Zarya.
Once again, Jim getting poked out pretty good there at the start here, but he's ends up getting topped off and jumping his way back in. They've taken out Cuban Pete's Junkrat already. And now the Kamehameha coming out very far back from Dano, trying to peel this Genji off of his own asshole, but not having any success. Does not find any kills with Coalescence there. Now Evelite gets the kill onto Cap'n with the Diva Bomb. Going to try to trade is Josh Danko, but he only finds one tank himself. Now Scotch finds 2 with this hammer, but he's not able to get on top of the Tracer.
Meanwhile, Scotch swinging away, seeing what he can get, but not fast enough to chase a Lucio with this speed. Team seeing what he can do to just be annoying and try to take this point back. Cuban Pete and Cat coming back in to help Josh Danko as they have the man advantage, taking out Jim on the monkey. Crystallize doing what he can to try to keep everyone safe with the Ana, getting a nice sleep, but people waking up Danko from his short cat nap. As they continue on with a solid defense, Josh Danko getting demeched and losing the mana advantage as Dano goes down and Danko trying desperately to stay alive as the baby Diva getting taken out by himself. Scotch is going to see what he can do. The beat being dropped for the Tide Pod challengers as they are going to be able to take this point as they just have to take out Junkrat and there they go.
That
But-
was such a long fight, though. That was flirting with disaster for the Tide Pod Challenge, because if they lost there, they essentially would have fought from 30 to 100 without ever fully resetting. But they get the fight near the last possible second. Now they're sitting on a nice situation with ults. Both teams have a... It looks like the Team Drop is going to go for the back break here. They get the hammer, and they toss the Dream Bomb, and they've taken out Jim. Now Poke Reset's going for an ult of his own. He has been nano-bladed. He's finding a lot of damage here. Cupid Peak with the tire, pops it early. Could have maybe played that more aggressively to look for more than a 1. This is looking good for the Tide Pod Challenge. Poke Reset's still around with a healer and a tank. 4 versus 3 on the board as Jim has just now baited him, but Hibbs is joining his team as well. Looking like this fight about to begin Act 2. As there is a slight man advantage of the challengers, they are whittling away these opposing health bars, but now they have lost their star Genji.
And continuing on with this fight, the Tide Pod Challengers doing what they can to keep their hopes alive. A big batter coming down
A
from
hammer
as he doesn't
triple
have to worry about
kill!
anything.
Oh, Scott!
Whoa!
Big. As long as he doesn't have to capture the point, he might be your man. And that is an icon I do not see in the kill feed often. Now there's only 10% here. Going to not be able to get the entire team onto this point in time. Quick resets, jumps off, but it did not matter. He crossed over time early. Now Ball Sexy is Tracer. They have a chance. They got the entire team in here. They are touching this in overtime, but they have lost Crystallizes Anna.
On with the fight, making sure that the beat is dropped to keep these Jeff Rinos just healthy as they can be. But Tide Pod Challengers seeing what they can do. They are falling down one by one. Another beat drop coming out of Teamix to make sure that their team stays in. But the triple tank threat coming out of Jeff from the Overwatch team is just too much for the Tide Pod Challengers to handle, and they cannot stay on the point.
There we go. Point 1 over to Lijiang Tower, over to Jeff from the Overwatch team. They are now at map point here. They have the opportunity to draw this match, which it's no win, but it's not a loss either.
And you know what? I think Jeff from the Overwatch team has a very good chance of winning this.
Yeah, they looked very cohesive on that last point. Not something we've been able to say that often for these guys. As fortunately for us, they're going to swap things away drastically. Josh Danko, he's heard you, Twitch chat. You want Doomfist, you get Doomfist.
Oh baby, I am ready for the punches. And it looks like Tide Pod Challengers opted to go on the main bridge to try to take the point first. Seeing if they can lure them from the Overwatch team into their trap, and it is working as they are able to just get pick after pick after pick. And as the point unlocks, Tide Pod Challengers should be able to get first cap.
Yeah, really clean first fights, and it has forced Josh off of Doomfist in record time. After giving up the first pick of that fight, he's going to swap over to the McCree to try to answer Evelise Farah. And
Captain gonna fall to his death?
I was not watching there. I don't know if he was about to die and just wanted to reset or what, but Naku, they lose Dano's mech, they lose Danko. Another good fight for TPC.
And the strength that Jeff from the Overwatch team was showing before is starting to falter greatly, unable to do much just with the giant gap in the middle of the map. That bridge is hard to cross when there is a Pharah in the sky and a Lucio booping
Yeah,
you
T-Mic
off.
maybe our best booper of any of the support players in the league. This is a map he's very happy to be playing on. Is Evelyn downtown fights 2 with 1 rocket.
Now these rockets popping off.
Evelyn
Putting a
doing
lot of
work
pressure
right
on
now.
Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Oh, good God. Evelyn maybe just got himself a play of the game there with no barrage required.
They were already dead.
Yeah, Captain gonna have to swap over to some more assistance for this pharmacy. Popping onto the Widowmaker to join Josh's McCree.
And going back to it, Josh Danko playing the DPS, maybe it was better if he stayed on the D.Va and being able to contest the Pharah Mercy more.
It's a big hook, but ooh, Jim with the hammer down, stopping the sentry. Avalite gonna rain justice into Jim's hammer, and that's going to be a lot of kills. Not much time remaining here for Jeff from the Overwatch team. If they swap over to a diver tank, they might be able to touch here.
Hibbs is on the point, but he's a little early.
Hibbs.
That's not where you
Once
wanna
again,
be.
a rookie mistake, a low-level player. He was not ready for this. Just not playing that situation out properly.
And a nice bomb coming in, but being blocked by Jim, making sure that the Tide Pod challengers are able to use their ults effectively to keep this defense going, as they have the point, they have the man number, and they are going to be able to hold this. Scotch unable to reach the point, and we are 1-1.
Yeah, super clean out of Tide Pod challengers. They just kept finding picks at opportune moments. We had a fight at 0-0, and then I mean, did we have another actual team fight until 080?
Not really, no.
It's just when you're trying to retake the point, you just need more chances to throw punches. Jeff from the Overwatch team unable to give themselves any of those, and now we are on map 3 over to the city center here. Sorry, Night Market.
Yep, Night Market. Going to be the deciding match. Whether or not this night goes as a win for the Tide Pod Challengers or a draw between the two teams.
And it looks like Tide Pod Challengers content to keep running what they're running. They like this Reaper into the divers from the opposing team. They like Avalite up in the sky uncontested, which he will be again. A fullest dive coming out of Team Jeff, but they are not diving with it just yet as everyone kind of makes the way in this front door. Dano's the first to fall.
So yeah, we see the Genji and the Tracer coming out from Jeff, the Overwatch team. Two picks we don't see them use a lot of, but looks like they're not going to find too much success. They are the last two live, but they're against a full healthy Tide Pod squad.
Yeah, there's a clean first fight out of the Tide Pod Challengers. They're trying to decide if they want to hold up or hold the point, and with the way Evo is raining damage on entry, maybe holding the point is going to work best for them. That's what they're committing to right now.
Very unlucky from Cuban Pete getting picked off so early, being the linchpin for that team.
Yeah, really the one guy that can least afford to get picked early. As once again, the hook is really slowing down the sentry. They're trying to top off their tanks, but they're not having a chance to. TPC doing a good job of pushing this forward aggressively. Stalling a lot of times. Hook resets, just jumps right out.
And another just solid defense, getting 2 picks off the Demon Mech, but a die getting hooked into the team as Hook resets, having the time of his life on that Reaper, able to getting all those juicy hits that he wants. Josh Danko trying to do what he can to maybe get the other Pharah in this guy, but getting hurt himself and unable to do much. And this
Hibbs
is just
rushes the
sad.
point in a 2 versus 6. The Hibbs is just, he's not looked ready for a competitive Overwatch tonight, to be completely blunt. A lot of little situations like that where he just has no clue what to do around the points. As now Ball Sexy is pushing forward the whole hog. Scotch just tried to drop the Demon Bomb, but it's going to be blocked here. As we are seeing a good old-fashioned pillow fucking up. Captain drops it. He takes out Hook resets his Reaper. This maybe is a chance for Jeff from the Overwatch team as Jim goes for a hammer. It only hits Josh, but he is content to take out the former near Grandmaster. Team though is going to be killed by the dive of Jeff from the Overwatch team. They've lost Captain on entry. This timer is turning into the enemy of Team Jeff. They use the Resurrect on Captain. But now, High Noon out the front. Crystallize is in the air, dodging away from this one, as I don't think Captain is going to find anybody. Balls actually did find Scotch at the same time. And now an offensive Mercy ultimate coming out of Cuban Pete. As Crystallizes wears off, this is the final fight, but they've lost Hibbs' Moira. Avalite still raining that damage down in the front door. Ball Sexy maybe gonna just push everyone out the door. Cuban Pete is the only one able to touch John, but now he's lost his life. There are no heals available for Jeff from the Overwatch team. This is not looking good. Josh Danko and Captain are down. It is just Dano and some role players remaining. Can they do it into the Reaper ultimate? They cannot. And it's going to be a 2-1 victory on Lijiang Tower and a 2-0-1 match victory for the Tide Pod Challengers. And play of the game, gonna be Avalite. I think we know which play this was going to be. Just absolute destruction. from downtown. Look at that. One rocket pops up a double in the kill feed. Says, who needs rocket barrage when no one on the enemy team can dodge?
Speechless. That's all I can say. Speechless
Sci-fi
after that.
challenges, maybe not as much of a victory as they were hoping for, but a win is a win. I mean, I guess 2-0-1 is still a pretty big win. Some of those
Yeah.
maps fairly competitive, but they keep themselves in very good position to get the 3rd seed here, and maybe even contest for the 2nd seed after Blemmy's Dabs slip up tonight. But that is going to do it for us, folks. So, you know the drill. We'll be back next week. We've got 2 weeks left before we cut into our playoffs, so we will see you next week.